So, ladies and gentlemen, fanboys and girls, nerds, weebs, and otaku, welcome back and welcome home.
Well, hello there, Applebites. This is your Applebite Written Writ Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. And we have Jonah and Vaughn hanging out with us today, and we're about to talk about their Kickstarters. Both of them are doing pretty well. And we are, you know what, let's get to the nitty-gritty of things. Jonah, you're the new guy here, so why don't you tell the audience who you are, all the good stuff. Give them the spiel.
Sure. My name is Jonah Lobe. I am an artist. I've been an artist in the game industry for a while. I worked on games like Skyrim and Fallout 3 and 4.
Oh, wow.
We love you.
And then I worked on a book called Marvel Anatomy a couple years ago, and which was like a compendium of all of 60 Marvel heroes and villains,
Right.
And their anatomical information. And then now I'm working on a Kickstarter I'm working on a graphic novel that is currently on Kickstarter called Quiet Level 1, which is a comic written by me.
So tell us a little bit about Quiet Level 1, because, you know, I've been enjoying like doing the research on this, but I want to hear it from you.
Of course. So Quiet Level 1 is kind of flipping the idea of kind of the hero going into the tomb and smashing the skeletons. What if the hero was actually the villain and the skeleton was a cute, innocent, kind soul? And essentially, Quiet, who's the protagonist, who is a silent skeleton, who's very small, who is the last hope of stopping the warrior Galahorn. It's basically what would happen if a level 1 skeleton went up against a level 100 barbarian, and he's tasked with stopping Galahorn from escaping the labyrinth, which is level 1 of the world of the Tree of Worlds. And it's basically a love letter to fantasy, to Dungeons and Dragons, to video games and adventure.
I gotta say, that's exactly what it felt like. I started going through it, and then I started thinking about all those skeletons I've defeated over the years.
Exactly, and you felt nothing. You felt nothing for you. Like, ha, the skeletons. And now, like oh, yeah.
I gotta say, as soon as I saw your cute little guy, I was like, man, I feel bad now.
Yeah. Good. That's good. I've done my job.
I figured you wanted us to think.
Exactly. Yeah. So there it is. So you can see some of the main characters there. There's Galahorn, the barbarian, the level 100 barbarian. There's Threadcutter, which is an evil knife with an eye in it. There's Quiet, waving to us. And then his little friend is named the Narrator Worm. And the Narrator Worm is basically a kind of caterpillar that can biologically only narrate life from the perspective of whoever it's with. But this little Narrator Worm believes in Quiet and thinks that Quiet is the hero, and is basically kind of the little sidekick, basically.
I love it. It reminds me of Link and his little buddy.
What, Navi?
Yeah, Navi. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a Zelda nerd.
Exactly. And just like Link, Quiet is a non-speaking character. Although unlike Link, this is like part of the plot. Like a lot of entities in this world can speak, but my main character cannot speak.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that's interesting is like people say Link can't speak, but if you like play the game, he does technically speak. You just don't, because he'll have these animations. They go, "Oh, I see," and it's like, so I guess he said something, but for some reason they don't. It's weird, but
yeah, like Zelda is a game where they often do use a lot of like kind of musical cues for characters' voices.
Oh, definitely.
It's a very beautiful aesthetic, you know.
I gotta finish the latest game. I can't believe it's been a full year, but you know I've been working.
I know the feeling. I know I had to after Baldur's Gate 3. I was like, I gotta take a break. I gotta do some work. I can't live this life as long as I've been.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 keeps calling to me, and I'm like, no. I know exactly what happens if I start playing.
How can you resist, though? How can
Oh my god! Before it was easy because my computer wasn't going to be able to handle it, but then the guys got me a new computer, and it's a gaming computer slash editing computer. So now I'm sitting here going.
You know what? If they got you a gaming and editing computer, that is a creme de la creme the computer. It deserves only the best video.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's like giving your computer a glass of nice red wine and like a duck dinner. Do it, dude. Do it for your computer because your computer's going to do so much for you.
It's going to happen. I already know it. I've been avoiding it, but I keep hearing the sirens call. It's like, roll.
The Siren's Call has a great soundtrack.
Gage the Wolf is like, I still haven't touched Baldur's Gate 3. See, Gage would be another person to get lost in.
See, I played Baldur's Gate 2 when I was a freshman in college. It's an old game, and I played that. And I was like, but this is crazy. This is so good. And I think that I've always been on the hunt for like a good RPG like that. And finally, Baldur's Gate 3 came out, and I was like, this game is made for me. It's made for me.
Yeah, and Baldur's Gate 3 is a beautiful love letter to all that stuff, to RPGs, to D&D. It really, like, you know how every once in a while you sit there and going, oh, they didn't get this right, they didn't get that right, but I feel like with Baldur's Gate, they finally actually got all that stuff right.
Yes, you can just tell that it was a lot of very passionate, very motivated, very excited people. You could tell there was a lot of love and care and attention and a lot of little flourishes that were put in that like didn't have to be put in. And that's always, and when you feel the developers love you and are like treating and are really like being given the time and space to really make something special, it's great. It's a rare treat. Perfect 10.
Gage is saying, oh, the little skeleton is cute.
Little Skeleton is cute. Exactly.
I still haven't touched Stellar Blade. I've had Stellar Blade for a while, but I finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but there's one last side quest that I've been grinding to do. And then I want to do like a discussion stream talking about the insane ending. Because it's one of those like, what is going on kind of endings. But yeah.
I've not played. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the original. So fantastic. I like the new. It's one of those like, and I think there's a problem with a lot of modern gaming is every game needs to be an open world, and it's like, do they actually like really?
I agree.
It's like because you look at like God, like what are some examples? Like okay, so Ocarina of Time was an open world, right? But like playing it because I didn't play it when it came out. It's a small world by today's standards, but I like it because it's pretty focused.
Yeah,
I did a video on that years ago too.
Yeah, when you shrink things in size and like control a little bit more of like player choice, it does allow you to focus more on polishing, like on the parts that are there. So, yeah, I think, and this is why like a really truly great single player experience that's not open world can be really truly great because then if you're letting go of all the expectations of like being an open world and everyone try to be that. Yeah. Then you can like just focus on what you're good at and be really, really good at that.
I think the whole art of the game that you play and you know you have fun with and then you're done with is kind of like nobody wants to do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I started realizing I was like, am I having fun with this game? Because I was like, I kept going, you know what? I've done this many side quests, might as well do them all. And I kept doing that for hours and hours and hours. And then finally, the last side quest, I was like, this is going to be a grind. And then I realized, oh, you can go back when you have higher XP. What? You could just do that after you beat the game? I was like, then why don't I just do that? And then I did that, and it still wasn't enough. But hopefully, it's enough now.
Gage is saying I have to avoid games in order to get writing and stuff done.
Yep, that's
so I have to muster the willpower to focus and get writing done all the time.
Dude, I like never get to write. Although I did technically get to write today, so I'll take it. I'll take a victory. I'll allow myself to say I won today.
Beautiful. So that's beautiful. Getting in the time. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess I did. Yeah.
And life likes to get in the way. It'll throw us all a bunch of other stuff that we were supposed to be doing.
I also noticed that I often, when I'm about to write, come up with other things, even if I've set up the time. I like won't let myself write. Do you guys ever get that?
I do that all the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like, yeah, and it's like no.
I gotta ask you, like, do a lot of people fall in love with your little skeleton?
Yes.
I have a feeling.
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely, that's kind of part of the reason I decided to pursue the route of this little skeleton, because I've been doing a lot of different drawing and a lot of different painting in the years since I left Bethesda. And this little skeleton character came up a couple times. And then I did in the summer of 2020. Sorry. I live on a major thoroughfare now. I just moved apartments. So sometimes you get those big ones. I did a series of 12 drawings, and I kind of transformed those into like storytelling, like 1 minute of action, and 1 minute of storytelling. And so as you watched me create the art in video, I also tell you like 1 more minute of the story. It was called The Story of Quiet, and it was basically Quiet. It was kind of like a pre-Quiet level 1. Right. It was like kind of a tryout of this character, and the results were amazing. People really like wrote like, oh my gosh, like this. They expressed great connection with the character, and I kind of thought to myself, like that's very interesting that like people really connected with this character, and then I got distracted with Marvel Anatomy.
Of course.
And then when I finished making Marvel Anatomy, I was kind of like, well, now I know I can do a graphic novel, because I did a whole illustrated 230-page book.
True.
Like now is my time to make my story and build my world. And so that's how it conceived. That's how Quiet Level 1 started to kind of really formulate over the years.
I have to ask, because I keep looking at this, and it is a love letter to video games as well as RPGs. Yeah. Is the thought have you had the thought of making this into a video game?
Yes, I've definitely thought about it. I mean, with the name Quiet Level 1, you're kind of hinting at video games, and there's a lot of video game like elements in there.
There are
all kinds of little Easter eggs, and so I'm as excited as this idea as I've been, and as fully aware as I am that like this could and should maybe one day be a video game. Mm-hmm. I haven't let myself think about that too much, just because it's like I'm not allowing myself that. Like, like I'm kind of like one step at a time. Like, let's make this into like first this before it can be a video game. It has to be like it can be this other thing, and then this other thing, the graphic novel, forms then kind of the Bible and outline, and like kind of posits a bunch of ideas of how it could work for said video game. In my ideal world, the graphic novel comes out, and then we make and then a couple of years later, like some small up and coming studio,
right,
are like, yo, we would like to do something with this. And I would like to, in the case like that, I would like them to tell me the kind of game they would like to build around Quiet. I'd be really like interested to see how the world of Quiet inspires other people to build their own worlds, and see how that feels. It's, I want it have to be fun and actiony and, all these things, but it also have to be, heart forward, and it has to be like a nice would have to get the feel right too, you know.
I completely agree. You know, you don't want to jump into it, rush into it. I feel like you're doing the right path. You're taking each moment and then trying to get somewhere, and then thinking about it later on. Because sometimes people like want to rush through all this stuff, and you know, then you get like bad quality.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to let your dreams like just carry you, you know, and just think ahead, you know, 11 steps ahead. And I think it's good to have dreams and it's good to have a North Star for sure. But dividing down like your desires into kind of like a more easily achievable list of things is, I think, the way to go. You know, how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time, you know?
Yeah,
So
that's what I've been struggling with. Yeah.
I know it's hard to do because as world builders, we want to build world. We love to daydream. We love to tell. We want to tell stories in all their forms, right? And when we play video games, it makes us think of video games we want to make. And when we watch movies, it makes us think of the movie we want to make. I think it's very healthy to do that stuff. But I feel like I'm in just making myself doing it, just actually do it and like go through, because, you know, just this Kickstarter was so much work. I mean, so much work. And now I'm like, wow, great. Like it's doing really well. Like this is so exciting. Now I have to make the rest of the graphic novel, you know, and like, but at this point that feels like the easy part, because even though that will be hard and it'll be full of difficulties and there'll be things I don't like about it, and it will be as good as I can make it. And it'll also be like very imperfect, you know, in many ways. And just recognizing that, like, yeah, but that's it. That's it. That's quiet level 1, whatever it is. And like, just getting it out into the world is such a struggle, you know?
It is, and you're completely right, because sometimes what we do is we block ourselves off, and we never complete a project because, you know, we don't allow ourselves to complete it.
Yeah, I'm starting like and I'm getting better at just letting, like, there was a point today where I was like writing and I was like, nope, I'm just letting it. These are the revisions I'm making. These are the final revisions. I trust it, because I kept asking, oh wait, let me get this person. No, you know what? Let's do it. And I think that's one thing I'm getting better at.
Yeah, good. Being bold, making bold decisions, and like trying to live with the consequences and try to adapt, you know, if they're the right decisions. I think that, like, you know, what do they say? Kill your darlings, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, all your ideas are not precious. In fact, most of them are not. So get used to just to knocking down a lot of the bad ones and looking after that good one.
I gotta say, like, I love all those little bits and pieces you've put into your campaign.
Thank you. Well, you know, I did work in the picture you're looking at now with these little figurines. I did work in video games for years, making 3D assets. And so the tech required to do this was something I knew already. So I could just do it myself. And it was fun to do it myself. And then because I had done another Kickstarter, I wasn't really involved in the Kickstarter per se, but I designed dice that were part of a Kickstarter set. They were metal dice. And the guy who owned the foundry, he's just a really cool guy, and then basically this was a great opportunity for me to work with him again, but on this project. And you know, it's a game, it's a graphic novel that has shout outs to D&D and gaming. And
you can feel it completely, man. Like,
exactly.
As soon as I saw this little figure, I was like, ooh, I have ideas.
Exactly. It's I feel like if you love D&D, like, you are a sucker for just little metal beautiful.
Oh my god.
I just knew that, like, because I'm the artist working on these figurines, I was like, these are going to be great. I'm gonna spend all the time I need to make them great. And now it just makes me really excited, because I'm like, yes, there's a whole graphic novel coming, but also I get to put this little figurine in your hand.
Exactly.
And then you get to, and because it's made of like real brass and not like pewter, it will be nice and cool forever.
It looks really well made, because sometimes somebody will throw something in there and you're like, okay, this is kind of crappy.
No, it's really well made. It's really, to be honest with you, it is not. It's you like we are selling so many of them, but they actually don't alone make that much money for the campaign, because unlike all these other paper products,
right?
Like a real cast like piece of like it's really, but like, you know what? That's what I wanted. I wanted something like really quality. I wanted something really quality.
It's almost like, and I have to say, it's almost like you have a little souvenir of the book.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then you'll just like always have. I mean, you'll always have the book too, but you'll also have the souvenir, and the souvenir can just like he kind of. I have quite kind of looking up a little bit, tilting up their head up slightly, because I want you to put them on your bookshelf or your desk or something.
See, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, I can see it back here. I can see it, and it's funny because as much as I love books and stuff, because some you put them away. When it comes to like little figures like this, it's something that you constantly have around you.
Totally.
Yeah.
And if it looking at it like makes you happy, and like holding it and feeling it like makes you happy, like cool, like that's great, Yeah.
So here's the other question. Then I can see the influences from D&D. Then that's the other question. Would you think of making a campaign with this?
Oh, that's so funny. Well, so I've only really gotten into D&D like a year ago. I mean, when I was younger, I played a little bit of like Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse, and like the occasional like rifts like quest, but it was never more than like 2 quests, because it was always like me and a friend or me and my cousin trying to convince the older brother to do it, and like it's just never holding up. And so only recently have I gotten into like a serious campaign. It's funny, I've never thought about doing a campaign because I build worlds for a living, and when I play D&D, I just want to relax. Like I want to play just one character, and like I want to play it like a video game. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, and it's so funny that you said that. And it's weird to say this, but as much as I should take a break and I would love to play, I end up being the DM most of the times. And I became the DM because I love the whole creating worlds thing. And I'm like, don't you already do this enough?
Yes, I do. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, it's my work and I love it. Like the storytelling and the Imagineering and all these things. But like, when I'm playing, I want someone else to do it for me. It's like getting really, really good at massages, but then be like, but now am I off?
Oh my God,
I want someone else
I know
to massage
exactly what
me.
you're talking about. Oh, you can do a massage for me. I'm like, no, come on.
Yeah.
Dude, I love how you've set this up. You've actually, I can tell the care and the love that you've actually taken in putting this together.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a special project, and I want to attract a special audience. People who really connect with it. So I wanted to, you want to create a Kickstarter page that treats people right.
And the prices are pretty good. Like, yeah. That's pretty decent there, usually you can't get a soft cover for that much.
Let me see it again one more time. 29, and how many pages again?
It'll be around 200 pages.
That's a lot. That's good money.
That is a great deal, man.
Exactly.
I mean, I want to put this in a lot of hands.
You couldn't have put me first. Now in comparison. Oh man. Yeah, I wanted to keep my price. I used to do that. I'd be like looking at these books on the crowdfunding sites, like, how can you possibly charge this? Is ridiculous. I see what they do at the store, and then I start doing the math myself, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So this many.
Yeah,
I have to make the crappy quality, and it's.
Yeah, this is going to be great quality. No, I mean, I have enough of a resume and enough of a following that I was like, I think I can get larger numbers for the average individual, like hopefully on Kickstarter, but I want to ensure that by like really making this something that a lot of people can afford, like that can be in a lot of hands. Because
you're not kidding. Look at these prices.
Thank you.
Like I love what you did there. We're like, well, I could have done this, but I did this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of thought and a lot of like discussions like kind of went into these prices, and like we found some good manufacturers. Like we found like we have like systems in place for distribution and all that. So it helps when all these things are kind of like accounted for. It's great. Yeah, I feel very and I'm really excited about just like, you're looking at these pictures right now. For instance, you can see the hardcover version of the book with the slipcase.
Right.
I'm just so excited to like hold this slipcase hardcover. Like it's just going to be just looking at it.
because
I'm so excited.
it makes me feel like it's a player guide or something.
Nostalgia, man. I mean,
Exactly.
this is part of the reason, not the whole reason, but this is part of the reason why the book is largely in black and white. Entirely in black and white, but I wanted, there's that nostalgic element that I kind of want to play with,
Look, you even got Gage to come onto the show.
He was talking about role playing.
Oh man,
that's my call to arms.
Exactly.
Your role playing stand. What's your class?
So I don't play D&D. I tell everybody always the game master, never the player. So,
we were just talking about that.
We play homebrew White Wolf, and I have my own system that I've been designing for years that we play in.
That's fantastic. You've been designing your own system?
Yeah.
Dude, talk about world building, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, Gage is always amazing. So,
do you guys play together?
I love how he puts all that stuff together. I'm like, as much as I'm a DM, I sit there going, I can't do any of that.
So I haven't gotten to play with Raph yet. That's something I've been looking forward to doing.
Soon.
But I run like a 4 to 6 hour game on Thursday night, and I run an 8-hour game every Sunday.
Dude, awesome. That's amazing. An 8-hour game. That's great.
Yeah. And I've been doing that since 94.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's
Dude.
dedication, man. That is a lot of dedication.
That's awesome. You provided a lot of people a really, really good time.
Oh, he does. And dude, I gotta say, I've watched him put stuff together, and I've heard how he runs his games, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I do a ton of world building, and I've done some item designs for RAF, and
yep.
Mainly I like to write. That's pretty much what I do with all of my time. So.
Yeah, and I want to get back to. I might write some more tonight. Honestly, after this, it's I finally gave myself the space, and I'm like, this is fun. I like this.
See, and that's what you have to do, Vaughn. You have to find that space. You have to give it to yourself.
Yeah.
Because the world's not going to give it to you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I'll have these spaces where I'm waiting for art. I'm waiting for this. I'm like, all right, have I done everything I can just right now?
Yeah.
That's what I keep doing. Like, oh, okay, I've done everything I can. Let me just right now.
I gotta say, this all in tier just has me like completely surprised, because usually the all in tier is like you have over there like 230, 250, something like that. This is only $159. That's a lot of stuff for $159.
Yes, it is a lot of stuff. Exactly, it's a lot of quality stuff. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you can see even like the price getting slashed there. It's because it's like a Kickstarter. It's a Kickstarter thing, right? Like we want people in Kickstarter, and I think that when the Kickstarter ends and we just move over to like kind of the pledge manager stage where people can pick things up later, that I think people will be losing that benefit. So if you want to get in, if you're listening right now and you're curious about Quiet Level 1, you have 8 days left because everything's about to go up.
I love that you're doing that, because I feel like some people don't distinguish or make different their Kickstarters. Usually the Kickstarter is the same price you get if you don't, later on. And I'm like, okay, how's that? Don't you want the Kickstarter to sell?
Yeah, well, what I did, because I was told that my way around it, and I totally get why people do that. Like I think a lot of people do that. I didn't, because I was like, well, we're kickstarting it. My whole thing was, but you do get all these extra goodies for free with your product. And you get it first. That's how I look.
Yeah, but you're still distinguishing it. You're still making.
Well, yeah, I'm also making the variant covers are all limited. Like, because I think variant covers kind of grew on me as a concept, but I still think there should be one main cover. So that's what I do. I'm like, there is a definitive main cover for this book, but all variants. Like, there's something you got to do something that's unique to the crowdfund.
So, what do you play that inspired you to do the playmat?
Ooh, good question.
No, actually, I don't. I don't play anything. I'm sorry to say. I have a picture of mine called Vanquish, which is a pen and ink drawing of two knights facing off against each other, and I made it into a playmat as like a test, and I just loved it so much. And when I took them to cons, it like I always sell one, and they're just I don't know, they got me. They're kind of like no one purchases mouse pads anymore, but a good playmat, it's like it's much more than a mouse pad, because it's like it is the tapestry upon which you weave your other games.
So my role players love their playmats, and I couldn't find one for the longest time. And then, like a year and a half ago, I found one that looks like an open spell book, and I freaking love that thing.
That's nice.
That's fantastic. That's perfect.
Dude, I gotta say, when I saw this tier,
Damn!
I was like, damn! I was like, I gotta find $4,000.
We sold that thing in 4 hours.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably should have charged more, but like I just wanted it. It wasn't even about making the money. It was about like, because I mean, come on, like look at that thing. It's quality as hell. Like
it's beautiful, man.
That's made by Punished Props. They're in Seattle. They do beautiful stuff, and I know them because they used to do a bunch of my Skyrim stuff as well as like Fallout stuff. They're veterans of like cosplay prop creation. They have at this point 750,000 followers on YouTube.
Woo.
And I went out there like 2 summers ago and saw their whole setup, and I was like, yo, this is amazing. And I did a knife with them for their 250,000 follower like video.
Nice.
Like a really sweet, like big huge curving knife. And I just knew that when this project came out, again, I'm a character artist, but that also means I used to do things that characters would hold. Right. And so my main villain in Quiet Level 1 is a huge barbarian with a mask, with a helmet that kind of mostly covers his face.
Yeah.
And so you only really see his mouth ever. And he doesn't show a lot of expression except for like anger. And so in a situation like this with the axe, I knew the axe needed to be something very memorable and very like it has a personality of its own. And he is a character that his destination is the top of the world tree, where he will chop down the tree of worlds essentially. And so it just made sense that he should have an axe. And it's kind of this like laughing wolf with a tongue like kind of lolling out of its mouth, and all the joy and promise of bloodthirstiness that you don't see the joy usually in Gallowhorn's face because he's so impassive, but when this thing he just rends everything with this thing. And then so I just thought the idea of this laughing wolf visage was just kind of like spot on. And with the same time, Gallowhorn is a character that he's basically an anti-hero in that it seems like there's a world in which this guy actually is a hero or thinks he's a hero. And so there is as sinister and as scary as the axe is, there's something about it that could also be interpreted, if the good guy had that axe, you'd be like, dude, that's the coolest axe.
It feels majestic. It feels heroic. It still feels heroic. We all know that good things can be used for evil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And most villains do not think they're the villain.
Oh, exactly.
Well, yeah, I guess so. It's weird because I like writing. I was just writing like my villain issue, like in my head, I guess, like rewriting it, and it's like I feel like there's a few kinds of villains, and I kind of toyed with playing with a few of them. I don't know. I think there's so many. Like I feel like there's a few. There's
there's like the Joker, for instance.
Yeah, there's like the pure evil that just wants sees nothing morally. There's ones that think they're doing the right things, and then there's ones that just don't care and are just out for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are always fun.
There's like Anton Chigurh is a great example of a villain who doesn't think about heroism or being on the right side of anything.
Yeah.
He just
thinks about the job basically, or money, really. That's it.
These are some nice stretch goals.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun to unlock them. We have the full colored art on the inside. So, for instance, like on the inside cover on the front, I have a very sweet, like whimsical illustration of Quiet and narrator worm hanging out, and then the later tier unlocked the other inside cover, the back inside cover, and that one's going to be like a dark and much kind of scarier and more dramatic cover.
I like that because it's like yin and yang.
Exactly. There's a very powerful kind of light versus dark motif in this. And I'm definitely like carrying that through. You know, as much as he's the villain, we follow Gallahorn around a lot as well. So, you know, and Quiet, you know, Quiet, you know, they have different stories to tell because Quiet cannot kick anyone's ass. Quiet is hopelessly outmatched by the villain. So every time it switches to the villain story, it's a very different kind of story where there's really nothing that can stand in his way, in many ways. And Quiet is always kind of scrambling uphill, but you know, it's going to be interesting. I was really inspired by, for instance, the Avengers movie, Infinity War. I don't look to the Avengers like or superheroes like always for like, you know, my prime entertainment. I'm a much fantasy lover, but in an instance like that, they really treated Thanos from a thematic and storytelling point of view. In that first movie, especially, they treated Thanos like he was the hero going on the hero. He was the one going on the hero's journey.
Yeah,
Right.
Because he felt what he was doing was right. Yeah.
And he was working really hard and sacrificing a lot to get there.
And correct me wrong, because I haven't really read, like, to be honest, even though I've read tons of comics, Thanos is a character I haven't really read anything with. He's not like that in the comics, from my understanding. He's like,
he is not.
Which version do you prefer?
I like the comic version only because in the comic, the reason he's doing this whole thing is because he's in love with Death.
Yeah.
He's trying to woo her over. And I feel like that's a better story.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think also there is a problem where people overly intellectualize stuff too.
Oh my God.
I think that's a huge problem. I think you could be smart with less. It's kind of like even earlier when I was going back revising script, I did this yesterday and I did this today. And even when I was writing out a little trading card, I realized you're a better writer if you could say a lot more with less. But it's also, I'm so sick of like, this is why I personally, one of the many reasons like I stopped watching The Boys is I just felt like it was almost like morally bankrupt to the point where it's like, no, this character cannot be redeemed. I don't know what you're talking. No, you can't just be like, oh, he had a bad day. There's things where it's like, no, you're just a bad person. Like, I'm sorry. You can't, no. Like, I don't know. I just think like you can't give every character a redemption arc.
Yeah. Not every character really wants to be redeemed.
They have to, and also you can't just be like, well, they're right from their perspective. No, it's not always that. Like,
sometimes when you're wrong, and you're right.
Yeah.
I gotta say, you're really close to that 130 mark. So what happens after that?
I've got plans. I've been thinking, well, I don't know. We've been running the numbers on trying to do a Gallahorn statue similar to the Quiet statue, but making it like bigger. And I got to tell you that at a certain point, the costs become quite high. And for me, I feel weird like posting things that are that expensive. You know, it just feels at that point, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Like, do people really need like a $700 statue? You know, even if it's amazing, which it would be.
And you see, you're thinking like us, because you know what we're thinking is like, I want that, and I'm like, do we want to propagate that? Do we want to make people go in that direction?
Right. Your $700 might be used better elsewhere. I don't know, but not so many more places because it would be amazing. It'd be awesome. I already know what it looks like. If anyone's listening, you can look on my Instagram. I have the Quiet Level 1 post. I think it's Quiet Level 1 account has a video of the Gallahorn statue digital on the computer. So you wouldn't see it in real life. You see it on the computer spinning around, and it looks awesome. It looked great. Yeah.
I gotta say, I like what you're doing here with the social stretch goals.
Thank you. Yeah, just trying to do everything we can to get the word out. Like really be as thorough as possible. Yeah. I
feel like you're giving a lot of people new ideas.
Oh, good. Yeah, there's all the things you can see. You see the slipcase with stickers. There's a sketchbook. There's the world map. That picture is very temporary. I've got a much better one already in the works.
Nice.
The playmat, of course. The prints pack is basically me. The original 12 drawings I did for the story of Quiet.
Oh, cool.
I've made 5 of them into prints. They look great. There's a Quiet figurine. And in 65, like as I said, like they're very quality, and I'm not like we're getting a lot more sales of them than I expected, and like I actually don't make a huge profit on them because they're real quality and they cost a lot. But
I was going to say, if you're putting it for 65, I don't see you making much of a profit.
No, I'm not. But like again, like I just feel like if you have a Quiet figurine in your house that you love, well, when I launch Quiet Level 2, you're gonna want that. You're in. You have the figurine. You got it all.
Exactly.
The enamel pins. We just unlocked a different enamel pin. Which I don't think is even listed on there, the thread cutter.
Yeah, we saw that a little early. I can go back. Hold on. There it is.
The thread cutter enamel pin. Yes, I've been waiting to do this one because thread cutter is a great character who's pure evil.
Great looking pin.
It's a great looking pin, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's really fun. Like in this way, like you can wear that thing and be kind of glaring at everyone while also smiling at them, and like you can just be. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait to put that on my own jacket. It's gonna be great.
And that's exactly what I'm looking at. I'm like, that would look great on whatever piece of clothes that I'm thinking.
Yeah, it'd be so fun. Yeah, thank you.
I do feel like you're looking at this from our point of view, because I feel like sometimes people forget to look at it from the point of view of you're a fan too. Oh, look, it's right here.
Oh, hey, great.
I like the master class. That's a good add-on too.
Yeah, well, I have a YouTube channel that's very, very focused on kind of demystifying the creative process when it comes to, I think a lot of people see my art or whatever and be like, wow, it's amazing. I could never do that. Well, I want to show people that they can if they just like kind of work hard at it. So I try to show my whole creative process and explain how I'm making the decisions I'm making and show you, back when the beginning, when the art doesn't look good at all, it looks like crap, but like you get to see it kind of come together. And then, hopefully that inspires people, So I thought since that's thematically very in line with my huge portion of my YouTube presence, especially, it made sense to have an opportunity for individuals to take classes with me, because I think a lot of people over the years have asked me for like a mentorship or something, and it's just not feasible, But
that's a lot of work.
This was a lot of work.
Yeah.
This was a great opportunity for me to just do like a live class, like extended class for some people.
Dude, I love what you've put together. It just looks amazing. You did a good job of putting all that stuff together. And it's funny because I feel like you're calling at me as a fellow collector, as a fellow player, as a fellow. It doesn't feel like you're talking at me. It feels like you're seducing me.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. I feel that tells me I'm doing a good job communicating like the message of Quiet Level 1. I'm excited about this. I'm in love with this, and you never know exactly how to pitch something per se. Right. But in this case, it was very easy for me to put this campaign together kind of from the heart, with customers in mind, with my audience very much at the forefront of my mind the whole time.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah,
because I think that, having people's support, having them as fans is such a precious thing.
Yeah.
We live in an age of, AAA companies owning everything, things, and it's just it's getting so hard out there for so many creators, and harder than it should be, because I think that there's so much, and the older I get, the more I realize how much talent there is out there, and how many people are not getting a voice, kind of, in the process. And so having people support me as individuals coming out and supporting me, that's a very privileged thing, and I want to treat them well,
And I can tell you actually care about the fact that these people are supporting you, that they like what you're putting together. that it is actually influencing you to be better at what you're doing.
If I'm not always getting better, what's the point, right? You know?
I know, but there's a lot of people out there that don't think like that.
I mean, yeah. It's
I gotta say, like Vaughn here, which we're about to start showing his stuff. He
Hard act
he
to
has a
follow,
lot
by
of
the way.
passion.
Hard
I
act
love
to
exactly
follow.
what he's put together
Yeah.
here. So Vaughn, tell the people all the beautiful stuff, and I'll scroll through this.
Yeah, so my comic is Penomanova, issue 1, Lightning Strikes. So this is a superhero comic set 20 years after World War III. We have 24 hours left for you to get it on Kickstarter.
oh my gosh.
So the time is now. If you're I always say this, and this is one of the things I felt when I was like really honing in on my superhero story. I'm like, what am I doing with mine? And a lot of people kept saying, oh, you should make it darker. You should do this. You should do this, like what the boys did. And I kept going, no. And I was like, well, why do I have such a strong aversion to that? And it's because I want this in an age of deconstruction, in an age of cynicism, that this is a reconstruction and a reconstitution of the superhero genre. That, you know, we live in a time where the X-Men are like a cult, or at least they were, and they abandoned all their ideals. And I wanted to depict heroes as shining ideals and do it through the eyes of a boy who saw heroes do amazing things. 20 years before this, they won World War III and stopped nuclear destruction. You know, I mean, there was some nuclear destruction, but like mass, like on a crazy level. Now he has to live up to that. And instead of it being a depressing message, it's a, man, this is a lot to live up to. He's a kid with a lot of enthusiasm and passion. And the problem with someone like that is he's very impulsive. And you give someone who's brash, who's adventurous, super speed, it's a recipe for disaster. So he has super speed and lightning powers. His superhero name is Galvanite. So Miles is the son of war hero. And he decides he wants to, after he gets his powers, he decides that he wants to stop a heist at a nuclear reactor, only to find himself in way over his head, fighting a supervillain that is just totally out of his league.
Dude. Yo. Can you go down farther? I want to see more. This art is great, man.
There's 5 covers, all the variant covers, like I mentioned earlier, campaign exclusives. So the first one you could get, it's $20. The others are $25, but they're very limited.
That's cool.
And then that's the back cover, no matter what you get. I'm friends with Dan Fraga. I was just talking to him earlier. And my friend, who was my main graphic designer, was like, hey, I was like, I need to do something for the back cover. He goes, can I do an homage to Bloodstrike #1 with these characters? And I was like, sure, why not? I decided to omit the blood because, yes, there's blood in World War III, but I wanted them to be kind of shining ideals. But
that looks a lot like artwork from Heroes Unlimited too. So like you definitely caught that.
I don't know if
I don't know if any of you guys ever played that. That's a Palladium game before Rifts came out.
Oh,
and it's a superhero version of the Palladium games. Palladium did like Rifts and Mutants, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. They did Heroes Unlimited, but that just harkened back to it really hardcore.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to keep promoting everything I can in the last couple days. We're going to see. But this mini print we just passed. So I also have this on Fund My Comic and Indiegogo. So the goals are cumulative, right? So the stretch goals, it's basically 15K was hit across all platforms. So everyone gets this double page spread as a mini print.
Beautiful print.
Already gets that. And we are 12 now backers away. We've been flying through backers away from getting our first trading card, which actually I'll show you the black and white art. I just got it for the trading card. Basically, I had it. If you scroll down, there's an art contest, and we had a winner for the fan art contest. And that basically, I decided to make it fun. My team and I picked a winner. And then the chat got to pick a winner on my live stream. And the chat chose the same person I did, which made my job easier. And so the fan art winner was in the book. And then I said, okay, as a bonus, if we let's do a backer goal this time. If we get 300 backers, we were like a decent way away. If we get 300 backers, you get to draw. This guy will draw a character, and you guys get to vote on the characters. They voted on our main villain. being the character that is drawn. And so I will go ahead and we already have the penciled art. Hold on, I'll share my. Do you mind if I share my screen?
Yep, go for it.
So 12 backers away from everyone getting this as the trading card. I just wrote the blurb for the trading card because I want there to be character trivia.
Ooh, beautiful.
So you guys can make it. We're going to make it. It's a matter of how quickly you want to make it and move it to the next one, which at 20K, there will be another trading card of that golden guy, Golden Gallant, the Golden Knight hero. That will be the same guy who did the back cover. We'll be doing him if we hit 20K. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I hope that happens really fast.
Me too. Me too. I struggled to connect with the Kickstarter audience, and I'm just finding my footing right at the end. So it's a shame. But issue 2 is already in production.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I feel like the value of these things is cumulative, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's we're building brick by brick something bigger.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy, his fan art looks amazing.
Yeah, he killed it, and I was like, I want him to do a trading card, I'm gonna have to hire him for something. I mean, his amazing work by Brett Barkley, super easy guy to work with too.
Wait, this is from him or this is from you?
Yeah, that's the fan art.
That's the fan art.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Same guy who just did that trading card that I just showed off.
Awesome.
Dude, that shows off his scale, because if he can do this and that's two totally different things.
Yeah, he was like, he gave me a bunch of thumbnails that were all cool, and I was like, dude, I'm getting better at it. I used to be like obsessive and thinking about it, and I'm like, well, that's probably why I wasted so much time. So I'd be like, you pick, man. You pick. I'm getting better at that. Like, for example, I had a list of cover ideas for issue 2, and I just said to my artist, I was like, you know what? You tell me what you're going with. And then he came up with something that was totally different. I'm like, oh my God. And then, so now I'm much less particular with certain things. I mean, I still am with others, but I'm learning to kind of just embrace the process, and I'm becoming a better creator by the day, and I love it. But I was still looking back because I was like, oh man, am I not going to appreciate issue 1 by the time it comes out because I have improved so much as a writer? And I still appreciate it, but there were parts where I'm like, that was clunky. Let's fix that lettering. But man, this issue is great. I wanted it to be like a giant size first issue, kind of like you start with Giant Size X-Men #1 or New Mutants started with the graphic novel, except instead of, it's annoying having to explain to people, well, no, you start with the New Mutants. You don't start with New Mutants #1. You start with New Mutants graphic novel, and then you move on. Like, no, it's a big #1, okay? And then #2 is smaller. Let's simplify it. It's annoying to explain to people.
I think people have forgotten about those big issues, and it all used to start with a big #1 usually.
Yeah. Well, and I also honestly really what it boiled down to, because at one point it was going to be 3 issues. Initially, it was going to be 1. Then I moved to 3, 24, and then I was like, no, because I want their first impression to end here. I want them to get I want the character to end up at this place, like where we've had an arc. And we're ready to build it into a team book. So Penomanova is the name of the team. It'll be the next generation of superheroes. I would definitely love to expand and do, as I was planning out the background for World War III with superheroes, I was like, dude, this is a story that I got to tell. So I would love to do a prequel series called Crusader Corps at some point, which would be about them. But Penomanova is the new generation of superhero. And that's where we're at. We have the 5. Yeah, we have all the. One of them, if you'll notice, is a Final Fantasy VII homage cover. But the thing about it is, it makes sense with the story. Like, there is a moment in the story with that.
I love homage.
And yeah, I debated if I want to do one for issue 2. I don't think I will, but I was considering doing one for every issue. But I've come up with so many that I want to do down the line. I'm like, oh. But it's hard because I also like when my artist comes up with something else.
That's how you got that beautiful piece. It was because the artist came up with it, right?
Which piece?
The beautiful 2-piece, the one that was released with the 15K.
Oh yeah. Well, that was like, so I was very descriptive of that.
Mhm.
But I was even like, oh, could at panels, like I was very descriptive and specific, but I also allowed some freedom. But like he actually changed the design of the dragon a bit from what I was like. My last revision that I sent to him, and by the time I sent that revision, he had already given me a thumbnail, and I was like, "Don't even look at it." It was going to be like coiling. It was going to be like a fire tornado coiling, but this is so much cooler than that.
And I love the lone.
And I'm glad that I didn't get that to him in time, because I was like, "Don't worry."
I love the lone warrior heading towards this thing. You know, it just makes it so much more epic.
Yeah, I wanted to convey almost like World War III in one image. And, I wanted to really show what heroism is. And so that's what I did. It's basically your knight in shining armor. It's East versus West, too. Like in the West, we fight, our knights slay the dragons. But in the Eastern culture, typically, they're the allies. So it's like a different perspective, of course, but it's not just that. Like the guy who was, the head of China was an evil dictator in World War III in this world, but it was like the knight in shining armor who's angelic slaying the dragon, but in a superhero setting, in a World War III setting. So it's like all these kinds of myths combined.
That's awesome. I love that. I love combining multiple sources to create something new.
Mm-hmm. Because initially that character was going to be like my own version of Superman. And then someone was like, really? I was like, we already have that. And I'm like, yeah, actually, I'm like, is there any like other Superman in another world that have been like, this is my guy. And I'm like, let's just do something different. And then I came up with that. And then my artist took it even further with like these. And this is, again, in the earlier, there were growing pains. My artist and I are now faster, but there were these like things sticking out of his head. And I was like, I don't know if I like that. And then I grew on. I was like, yeah, I do like that. It's different. I was like, is that more or less interesting than what I came out with? I'm like, it's more interesting. So, yeah.
So, Jonah, why don't you tell the people one more time all the beautiful things, where they can find you, all that good stuff, so they can go check you out.
Oh, sure. Sorry, I'm very tired. You guys are catching me at the very tail end of.
This is like the end of the show right now, so you're doing your wrap up, and then after this, you can go get some rest.
Woo! This has been really, really, really fun. But I decided in the last minute, I was like, I'm going down. Watch out, I'm crashing.
That's why I'm giving you this right now. That way you can do your thing and then get out, and then we'll have you back on. Don't worry about it.
Much love to you all. Thank you. So you can find me on Instagram. You can find me. I have my own Instagram handle. I am Jonah Lobe, but I also have a Quiet Level 1 only Instagram channel, just called Quiet Level 1. More importantly, come check out the Kickstarter. It's called Quiet Level 1. It's a 200-page graphic novel. It's going to be amazing. Get the figurine, and it's got 8 days left. So, or actually, at the time of this, since it's about midnight now, it's 7.
Oh no, you still got a little bit more time. So yeah,
Jonah, reach out to me. I'd love to get you on my show sometime. I don't know what's the best way to reach out to you.
You're breaking up a little bit. What's that?
What's the best way to reach out to you? I'd love to get you on my show sometime.
I would say email me through my website or hit me up on Instagram. Would probably be
okay, Instagram. Let's do Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Sure. I try to check all the things. So, and that goes for anybody in the audience as well. If you ever have any questions or whatever, you can always hit me up on Instagram. It might take me a couple days, but I will always respond to everybody.
What is it?
Thank you guys.
Your Instagram?
I am Jonah Lobe.
All right.
Jonah Lobe, easy.
Yeah.
I gotta say, once I found the quiet level, finding you was easy.
Good. Excellent. Guys, thank you guys so much for a wonderful, wonderful night and a great discussion.
Jonah,
Vaughn,
anytime you want to
good
come on
luck,
the show,
my friend.
you're more than welcome to. Go ahead,
Thank
go
you.
get some rest.
Take care, man.
Much love to everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody.
That was Jonah Lobe. Dude, go check out Quiet Level 1. It is fantastic. Vaughn, if you need it, I'll send it to you on Instagram. So you have it on, or do you have it already?
What, his campaign? I followed him
Well,
on
not
Instagram.
the campaign. I mean his Instagram.
Yeah, I found his Instagram.
All right,
I'll have
cool.
to get him. Hopefully, because he's got a big following. Hopefully, he'll respond to my message. So we'll see.
Oh, he's pretty good at it.
Okay,
he
gotcha.
responded to mine. Yeah, he's a good guy. I've loved talking to him.
Yeah.
That Kickstarter's killing it too.
Dude, yeah, there's just so much in it that I'm looking at going, just a little skeleton alone, and I'm like, can I find some money for that? So Gage, send your link over here in the private chat, and I will show up what your stuff here.
I don't have anything.
Your thing's ready to. You're still not on Notify? I thought you were on Notify already.
Nope, I'm waiting for Godslayers 3 to finish up before I do Godslayers 3 and Origins.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to have my trade of 1 and 2, the Waking the Godslayer storyline put together. I'm hoping to have Godslayers 3 ready, and I have Origins done. I sold it at Silver Age Comic-Con earlier this month. And so my goal would be late September probably.
Nice.
So I'm waiting on final art pages, and then I've got to do lettering and layout, and Godslayers 3 will be ready to go.
And speaking of Rob Powers, who you're working with, you guys need to go check out Pinguino's Revenge, because we need to make this fun, folks. This penguin is badass, and he needs to get his revenge, and we need to help him get his revenge. And I don't know if you guys have been watching Rob's page. He's been showing off all these people he's been beating up and killing.
Batman the other day.
Dude, I've been having fun with those things. I'm like, oh my god. Folks, go check it out.
Just a little dude with an attitude.
Exactly. If you like Wolverine, you'll like Pinguino.
That looks dope.
Speaking of both little people. I think all right. Vaughn, one more time, show off your stuff. I'll put it up, and you can go find Vaughn and his project.
Yeah.
Because, it's a great book. Go for it.
This is Penomanova, issue 1, Lightning Strikes. Again, 68 pages of story, 12 backers away from getting that goal. But more importantly, this is your last chance to get it on Kickstarter. It's not going to, like the other campaigns, it's not going to go anywhere. And let's see if we can boost that algorithm. I got to learn Kickstarter better for next time, because I do so far really like the algorithm. I like that it actually showcases the comics. I like the UI. So Kickstarter, really great stuff. Definitely back it if you guys want it. It's a return to form the superhero genre. The book is done. It's lettered. I am now just making revisions. I gave it to my mom, who was like, grammar, and marked it up. So that's where I'm at. We're just doing the credits pages is done. We're basically just doing the finishing touches. Issue 2 is already in production. In fact, some my artist, I was typing for a bit because my artist was messaging me. We're on a 12-hour time difference. So with some stuff about issue 2. I already have my first variant cover done for issue 2. It's smoothly going along. I've gotten great feedback. And if you don't hear it from me, can we play the trailer?
Yep,
I got some quotes.
Exactly what I'm about to do. Here we go.
When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often,
The earth from which we come gives way for something new, something greater to be born, and with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! Penomanova. For you, Dad. For you.
Love that trailer, man. You did a great job with that.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
And it really shows off your book really well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been I'm a student, so wanted to put that to use, and glad I did. This has been great. 35 backers. You know, I just got 2 new backers during this show, so it's been great. Hopefully we could bring in even more, but if you guys don't back tonight, you got till tomorrow, so let's make sure you
When does it finally end?
It finally ends. Let's see. It finally ends. What do you mean, like the campaign?
Yeah, well, the campaign.
And the Kickstarter campaign ends at midnight tomorrow. So
midnight tomorrow. So they got a full day. Okay, that's good.
yeah, I said 1 day left, like basically today, and it's like that wasn't actually true. So tomorrow, now I'm gonna just have to say something like final hours.
Well, yeah, but that's what it is because now.
Well, it is. Well, I guess it was right.
Hours.
One more
Yeah.
day.
Let's show off Quiet Level 1. You guys have to check out this trailer. It's really cute. Hold on. Well, it's really nice.
He does have an adorable little character.
We actually know each other already. I've worked on games. I've illustrated books. I spent my career building worlds and showing you how I did it. You've battled my dragons, my undead. You've gone to war with my mutants, my giant irradiated insects, my genetically engineered hunter-killer hybrids. My name is Jonah Lobe, and I'm an artist. Today, I want to share something very special. Quiet Level 1 is a graphic novel about a little skeleton with a big heart charged with an impossible task. There is so much for me to cover today, but if you remember anything, it's this. There is a tree of a world. There was a man with an axe coming to cut it down. And there was quiet. Quiet Level 1 is a love letter to fantasy, adventure, Dungeons and Dragons, and video games. And it's a love letter to you. In an age where big corporations control every major IP and milk their fan base for every dollar, I want to build something just for us. This book has comedy, action, giant flower-headed monsters, a room that can talk, an extremely evil knife with an eye in it, a rampaging warrior, and a mute little skeleton whose best friend is either some form of caterpillar or talking piece of celery. This is the story of a level 1 skeleton forced to go up against a level 100 barbarian. Quiet is not a fighter. but they have heart and smarts and a friend in the narrator worm. Together, this little pair must find a way to stop Gallowhorn from breaking free of the labyrinth and destroying all of creation. I'm in love with this story. I've been building this for years, and I do not just want to sell it to a corporation. I want this story to be for us. Quiet Level 1 will be available in PDF, softcover, and hardcover. The softcover edition will be available forever. The deluxe hardcover edition will be exclusive to Kickstarter. Add-on prints, world maps, stickers, pins, original art, heavy metal figurines sculpted by me and created by the masters at the Ember Forge. I even asked the team at Punish Props to build Runa, the axe wielded by Gallowhorn, for just one person crazy enough to wield it. If you haven't already caught the implication in the title, Quiet Level 1 is only going up from here. Universe is expanding. Every level brings something different. We are aiming for the stars at the top of the tree, but the journey starts here. Quiet can't do this without you. I can't do this without you. Join me today. Grab your copy, and let's do what we can to see this journey through to the end. Thanks so much.
I gotta say, I love that little animation. All right, folks. I think it looks like we're at the 15 mark here. Mr. Nat, are you there?
I have been here the whole time, good sir.
All right, good to hear from you. Is there anything else you remember?
What?
Is there anything I should remember, Mr. Nat?
Yes, Warlion has a campaign going on. It's coming down to the last days.
That's right, Warline. He was on the show on Monday.
And that's everyone I'm remembering from the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that's everybody. And if we have missed them, then we'll catch them again.
Oh yeah.
Gage, anything else you need to say?
I'm actually pretty good. I am curious about the Christmas stocking behind you in July.
He's never taken it down.
It's been there for a long time. It's just that right now the camera can see it.
I will be at Elko Comic-Con or Elko PopCon in Elko, Nevada, August 9th and 10th.
Nice.
Ooh, that does remind me.
So if you're on the West Coast for some reason, come hang out with me.
that does remind me. That does remind me.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Nat.
You hear that? You know what that sound is?
That's your tickets from Anime.
Yes, it is. Which we will be going to in a couple of weeks. It's only 3 weeks away. So you'll be seeing all the Bit and Apple members there from my
definitely. That's what usually happens for Anime NYC.
Which place is this? Anime
NYC, the biggest anime convention on the East Coast.
Yeah. It is at Javits. And it's on the 16th, 17th, and 18th. Yeah.
Wrong weekend.
Oh, sorry. The next weekend after that, which is the 20,
exactly.
24, 25, 26?
Correct.
Okay. And this weekend, almost completely forgot, it is Bronx Anime Comic Fest. And they're all ready for you guys to go check this out. They have a lot of people, a lot of guests. They have been working really hard to make this a great convention. You guys should go check this out. If you're not doing anything Saturday, August 3rd, go check them out. You might see an Apple Bitey or an Apple person or an Apple Teeny or, you know, and if you do see me, say hi and maybe I'll put you in the trailer.
You might see someone from an Izzyverse.
Oh, Izzy will definitely be there. Speaking of Izzy, thank you for saying that, Mr. Nat.
Oh, Izzy is a good guy. Yeah, I love Izzy. He's the one that got me in contact with you, actually.
See? Izzy's going to be there at Bronx Anime, and he's brought a big bulk of his comic collection, and he's going to be selling it there at Bronx Anime. So, you know.
So you're saying his wife found out about the shirt?
What happened?
His wife found out about the shirt then.
So well now he's getting rid of a bunch of his collection, and he's gonna be there selling the whole thing. So if you guys are looking for some stuff this weekend, go check out Izzy as he sells his personal comic collection, a big chunk of it. I think he told me he was taking like 7 or 8 crates. Yeah. So I'm telling you, this convention this weekend is going to be a blast.
Mm-hmm.
So go check out Bronx Anime. Go have some fun. Go say hi to some Apple teenies, and hey, we'll put you into the trailer. You
Yay.
know?
I can't imagine having that many cons that close to you.
Shit. Sometimes it's too many. Sometimes it's too many. Dude, that weekend of the 16th, 17th, and 18th, I think we're supposed to be at 3 different cons at the same time. Because you got Flame. What is it? FlameCon?
We got into FlameCon?
Yeah, they actually asked us to come.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's the same weekend as TerrificCon.
Oh, yeah.
There's another convention that weekend. I keep what is it? It's Flame, TerrificCon, and something else.
Oh.
I guess we'll see what happens. Vaughn, what's the next convention? You mentioned it on Monday.
Possibly WickedCon, maybe Tameling, but most likely TerrificCon and possibly Tampa Bay Comic Con.
There you go. And that's right. We'll see Vaughn at TerrificCon.
The 4-day pass
is a
for
great
your
convention.
Comic Con are out. I'm pissed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
There you have it, folks. All the good stuff. All the great stuff. It has been a blast. And on this show, when it's time to go, I say, I press the button, and where it stops, nobody knows.